Imagine a world where your heart is the battlefield, and every tear, every plea is a calculated strike to bend your will. This is the chilling truth. Manipulators don't need chains to control you. They need your emotions. They weave guilt like a noose, drape pity over you like a cloak, and wield silent treatments sharper than any blade. Picture that friend who guilt trips you into favors with, "After all I've done for you," or the coworker whose sob story makes you doubt your boundaries. These aren't accidents, they're strategies. The moment you feel sorry, the instant you hesitate, you've handed them the keys to your mind. It's a gut punch to realize your kindness, your very humanity, can be twisted against you. In America's fast-paced, cutthroat culture, where trust is currency, this betrayal stings deep. You're taught to be open, to care, yet every time you do, you risk becoming a puppet. The fear of being played, the anger at being used surges through you, but here's the spark. Awareness is your first weapon. By recognizing these tactics, guilt trips that tighten like a vice, flattery that blinds, or tears that demand your surrender, you reclaim your power. You start to see the game for what it is, not connection, but control. This isn't about shutting down your heart, it's about guarding it fiercely. For every young dreamer hustling in a world that preys on vulnerability, this truth is your shield. Stand firm, question the motives behind every emotional pull, and never let your feelings be the strings others pull. You're not just living, you're fighting to stay free. In a world that feasts on your reactions, emotional detachment is your armor against the storm. It's not about becoming a stone, but about commanding your heart with the precision of a chess master. The Machiavelli video lays it bare. When you control your emotions, you control your destiny. Picture yourself unfazed by a colleague's subtle bomb or unmoved by a loved one's calculated tears. This is the strength of detachment, not apathy, but sovereignty. In America's relentless grind, where every interaction feels like a test, this power is your lifeline. The ache of past betrayals when your trust was twisted into a leash ignites a resolve to never be swayed again. Detachment lets you choose when to feel, refusing to let manipulators dictate your peace. It's the quiet rebellion of saying no without a word, of walking away from drama designed to ensnare you. In a culture that celebrates hustle and grit, this discipline is your freedom. The video's truth cuts deep. Emotion isn't your enemy, being ruled by it is. That spark of clarity fuels a vow to protect your inner calm. Feel the weight lift when you stop justifying your boundaries, the strength of silence against provocation. It's a battle requiring courage to stay steady when the world demands you crack. But each moment of restraint builds an unbreakable core. For every American navigating life's pressures, be it boardrooms or family feuds, this is your edge. Embrace the stillness, wield your calm like a blade, and watch manipulators falter. You're not just enduring, you're redefining power, one deliberate breath at a time, rising above the chaos to claim a life that's truly yours. Empathy, Isaiah, the heartbeat of connection, is also a blade that cuts both ways. The Machiavelli video unveils a stark truth. Your compassion, so cherished in American culture, can be weaponized to chain you. Imagine pouring your heart into a friend's tears, only to realize their pain was a performance to bend your will. This betrayal stings, a gut-wrenching clash between your instinct to care and the dawning reality that not every wound is genuine. For Americans from 25 to 65, balancing careers, families, and social pressures, this hits hard. You're taught empathy is a virtue, celebrated in communities from coast to coast. Yet the video warns it's a vulnerability when unguarded. Manipulators thrive on this, wielding sob stories or feigned fragility to guilt you into compliance. The anger of being used, the ache of trust shattered, stirs a restless need to protect your heart. But here's the paradox. Empathy isn't the enemy, it's your lack of control over it. In a society that glorifies selflessness, you're conditioned to absorb others' pain, even when it drowns your own peace. The video's call to harden your empathy, to let it be earned, sparks a quiet revolution. Feel the relief of saying no to those who exploit your kindness, the clarity of seeing through their tactics. It's a struggle, torn between the warmth of connection and the steel of self-preservation. But guarding your empathy doesn't dim your humanity, it sharpens it. For every soul navigating America's competitive landscape, this is your awakening. Cherish your compassion, but wield it like a shield, not a leash. You're not here to carry everyone's chaos. You're here to live free with a heart that loves wisely and a mind that sees clearly. In a world rigged to exploit your every reaction, emotional discipline is the key to true freedom. The Machiavelli video delivers a revelation. When you master your emotions, you become untouchable, a force no manipulator can sway. Picture yourself standing calm as a colleague's accusations dissolve, or walking away from a loved one's tears without a flicker of guilt. This is the liberty of those who choose silence over case, restraint over surrender. For Americans from 25 to 65, grinding through boardrooms, family tensions, or the digital battlefield of social media, this truth is a lifeline. The pain of past betrayals, when your heart was twisted into compliance, ignites a fierce determination to never be chained again. Emotional discipline isn't about losing your soul, it's about wielding it with precision, deciding when to care and when to shut the door. In the US, where resilience is currency, this mastery is your emancipation. The video's wisdom resonates. The ones who win aren't the most emotional, they're the most emotionally disciplined. Feel the surge of empowerment as you refuse to explain your boundaries. The quiet triumph of staying unmoved by drama. It's a grueling path, demanding courage to hold steady when the world screams for your collapse. But each act of control builds a life no one can steal. Whether you're a 30-year-old carving your career or a 60-year-old redefining your legacy, this is your rebellion. Embrace the stillness, let your calm be your defiance, and watch manipulators crumble. You're not just surviving, you're soaring, unshackled by the traps of guilt or pity. In a culture that measures strength by standing tall, emotional discipline isn't just power. It's the freedom to live on your terms, unbreakable and wholly your own. In a world where words are weapons, recognizing manipulation tactics is your first step to reclaiming your power. The Machiavelli video lays bare the playbook of manipulators. Guilt trips that tighten like a noose, pity plays that cloud your judgment, and silent treatments sharper than any blade. Picture the sting of a friend's "after all I've done for you," or the unease of a colleague's crocodile tears to dodge accountability. These aren't mere moments, they're calculated strikes to pull your strings. For Americans from 25 to 65 navigating workplaces, families, or social media's relentless drama, this awakening is a jolt. The anger of being played, the weight of trust betrayed, fuels a resolve to see through the fog. The video's wisdom is your armor. Spot the bait, phrases like, "No one else cares like I do," and refuse to bite. Counter with silence, not arguments. Let their accusations echo into the void. In the US, where directness is prized but deception lurks, this clarity is your shield. Feel the empowerment of withholding explanations, the strength of a calm no that shuts down their game. It's a battle requiring vigilance to pause when emotions surge, but each time you sidestep their traps, you grow stronger. Whether you're a 35-year-old manager facing office politics or a 60-year-old guarding your peace, this is your fight. Starve manipulators of your reactions. Offer stillness, not surrender, and watch their tactics crumble. You're not just defending yourself, you're rewriting the rules. In a culture that demands resilience, recognizing and countering manipulation isn't just survival, it's mastery. Step into this power, eyes wide open, and navigate life's chessboard with a mind that sees every move, unswayed by the chaos others create. In the heart of America's relentless hustle, the Machiavelli video's call to master your emotions strikes a chord that echoes from coast to coast. Its message, guard your peace, outsmart manipulators, taps into the soul of a nation built on grit and independence. For Americans aged 25 to 65 juggling careers, families, or the digital gauntlet of social media, this resonates deeply. The sting of being guilt-tripped by a coworker or betrayed by a friend's calculated tears mirrors the daily battles you face. Yet, the video's bold, no-nonsense tone feels like a battle cry tailored for a culture that prizes straight talk and resilience. It aligns with the American ethos of self-reliance, whispering, You owe no one your freedom. In a land where personal success is measured in hard-won victories, the idea of emotional discipline as a path to invincibility ignites pride. Picture the 40-year-old entrepreneur in Chicago refusing to bend to office politics, or the 55-year-old retiree in Texas setting boundaries without apology. The video's wisdom, that silence and calm can disarm any manipulator, feels like a playbook for thriving in America's competitive arena. The surge of empowerment, the resolve to never be played again, pulses through a society that celebrates standing tall. It's not just advice. It's a reflection of the rugged individualism that defines the U.S., from the Declaration of Independence to the modern grind. For every American fighting to carve their path, this message is your anthem. Embrace the strength to stay unshaken, to value your peace above others' chaos. You're not just living, you're embodying a legacy of freedom, forging a life where no one can steal your power, rooted in the unyielding spirit of a nation that never backs down. The Machiavelli video doesn't just speak, it ignites a storm of emotions that shakes you awake. For Americans aged 25 to 65, its raw truth hits like a thunderbolt. Manipulators exploit your heart, and your empathy can be your chains. First comes shock, a gut-punch realization that the guilt trips or tears you've faced were calculated traps. Picture the 35-year-old manager in Atlanta recalling a colleague's sob story that swayed her, or the 50-year-old parent in Seattle stung by a friend's betrayal. That shock morphs into anger, a burning fury at how your kindness was weaponized in a culture that preaches fairness. Yet the video's call to emotional discipline sparks empowerment, a surge of strength to silence drama with calm. You feel the weight lift, a liberating relief as you vow to never explain your boundaries again. But there's conflict too, a tug of war in America's heart, where empathy is lauded yet leaves you vulnerable. The 28-year-old entrepreneur might wrestle with seeming cold while guarding their peace. Then comes determination, a steely resolve to outsmart manipulators, fueled by the video's anthem. Stay sharp, stay detached. In the U.S., where resilience is a badge of honor, this journey from doubt to defiance resonates. Each emotion, shock, rage, empowerment, builds a fire to reclaim your mind. Whether you're navigating corporate battles or family feuds, the video's stories mirror your struggles, making its lessons feel personal. You're not just watching, you're rising, heart pounding with the promise of freedom. In a nation that celebrates standing tall, these emotions aren't just reactions. They're a call to rewrite your story, to live unbowed, with a spirit that no manipulator can touch, forging a life as bold and unbreakable as the American dream itself. In the relentless pulse of American life, where every interaction can be a test, the Machiavelli video offers a roadmap to emotional mastery. Its core lesson: guard your heart to protect your freedom. Manipulators, whether colleagues, friends, or family, exploit your empathy with guilt trips or feigned pain, but you can break their hold. Recognize their tactics, a coworker's "after all I've done," or a relative's strategic tears. Don't react, pause, stay silent, and let their ploys falter. This discipline, not coldness, is your power. In the U.S., where individualism fuels dreams, setting boundaries without apology is your right. Stop explaining your no. Your peace isn't negotiable. Empathy is beautiful but must be earned. Don't let it become a leash. For the 30-year-old climbing corporate ladders or the 55-year-old redefining their path, this means freedom from others' chaos. The video's wisdom, emotion isn't the enemy, being ruled by it is, sparks a call to action. Stay sharp, stay calm, and choose when to care. In a culture that measures strength by resilience, this is your edge. Apply it daily. When provoked, breathe and observe, not argue. Guard your mental space like a fortress. You're not here to carry others' burdens. You're here to live boldly, unswayed by manipulation. Embrace this American spirit of self-reliance and forge a life where no one can steal your power, standing tall in a world that tries to pull you down.